Hello everyone, my name is Mehdi Zahid. I am a registered architect with the Ontario Association of Architects, and I'm also a member of Royal Architectural Institute of Canada. On October 18th, I had the chance to talk with the World Skills organization here in Ottawa, which was an online session. And here is the recording for the whole session. My talk starts at the minute 59. And my presentation is including 16 slides. What I would recommend you to watch the whole session, since the first part of this video is regarding the CACB process. So the Canadian Architectural Certification Board representative was talking and answering the questions regarding this process, and I would love to invite you to enjoy this conversation. Wish you all the best. Enjoy the show.
I see the CN Tower behind you. Yeah.
Can you see CN Tower?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm here.
I'm so sorry. I'm admitting all because it's
Okay.
all.
Yes, thank you.
I think that's what Sarah just.
Okay.
Ali Reza, he just did an intake with World Skills with CRP. Darshan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody on this beautiful Friday?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect sounds pretty good.
Thank you so much all for joining, for registering to our event. So it is an information session, as you know, about your journey in to know how to become a licensed architect in Canada. So this is designed for internationally trained architects as newcomers in Canada. And we will learn more from the experts in this field, how to do that and how to prepare for this licensing journey. This session is designed by the Credential Recognition Program at World Skills Employment Center. And we are happy to have the Canadian Architectural Certification Board. Victoria is here from CACB to present the requirements of licensing and the procedure of that to you. We also have a guest from Algonquin College, Mehdi Zahid, an architecture, a licensed architect, and also a professor at Algonquin College, to help you learn more about this licensing journey, and also some training and studying options for you. We also have Delciana from the Build program, JVS Toronto organization. They have some amazing programs for internationally trained architects, and they will introduce their programs to you. So, yeah, we will have questions and answers. Welcome. And so in this order, we will have CACB presentation, Algonquin College and Build program. And you will have time to ask your questions. Also, you can put your notes, your thoughts or questions in the chat. And yeah, and we would be happy to see you all with your cameras on if you're interested. And please keep your microphones off during the presentation so we don't get any background sounds. And also we may take photos of the session, and we are recording the session. So if you're not comfortable with that, you can keep your camera off or just let us know. So yeah, that's it. So thanks again to our presenters. They are all present now, I think, in the session. And we can start with
Perfect.
Victoria from Canadian Architectural Certification Board.
Great. So let me just set it up. I'm going to share my screen. Entire screen. Perfect. Can everyone see it correctly?
Yay!
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
So let me just, okay. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the time that we have to, talk about how to become an architect in Canada. So I'm from Canadian Architectural Certification Board. So let's dive into it. So what is the CACB? So the CACB is the only organization in Canada that assesses the educational qualifications of architectural graduates, either from Canada or from foreign countries. So that is the certification program. And then we also accredit we accredit architectural programs at Canadian universities. Currently, we have 12 of them in Canada. And then we also assess professional qualifications of foreign architects, which is what the BIFA program is for. We receive mandate from 2 organizations, which are called funding members. So the first one is Regulatory Organization of Architecture in Canada, so ROAC. And then the second one is the Canadian Council of University Schools of Architecture, which is the CCUSA. So our vision is to mobilize the Canadian architecture community towards an inclusive and sustainable future. And our mission is to implement, develop, and maintain high-quality certification programs and standards for the practice of architecture in Canada. And, our mandates, so we certify the educational qualifications of individual architectural graduates, like I said, from Canada and from foreign countries. We also accredit professional architectural programs at Canadian universities, which is the accreditation program. So this is something that you will not have to deal with as a graduate of architecture from, not in Canada. And we also certify professional qualifications of broadly experienced foreign architects who have more than 7 years of experience post-licensure in foreign countries. And we also collaborate and conduct research nationally and internationally as it relates to architectural accreditation and academic certification. So our programs, we have 3 programs that we currently distribute. So it's academic certification, which the main goal is to look at or to assess academic credentials of applicants in order to satisfy the Canadian Educational Standard, which is CES. Once the applicant is deemed that they satisfied all of the educational standard requirements, then they are certified. And then they're free or they're eligible to start their internship, which is followed by an exam, which gives you the opportunity to then register with the provincial architectural regulator. And that's basically how you get fully licensed. We also have accreditation, which I mentioned previously. It is to accredit schools of architecture at Canadian universities. And the aim of this program is to satisfy the conditions and procedures of architecture. And then if the school is successful, then they get a full accredited, they get fully accredited. And then we have BIFA certification, which is the broadly experienced foreign architect. And that is for applicants. We assess whether or not their knowledge and their experience satisfies the pan-Canadian standard of competency for practice in Canada. And then once the applicants are deemed that they do, then they get certified. And that in turn allows them to get registered or licensed with a provincial regulator as well. Okay, so let's talk about academic certification. So this is the first step towards licensure or registration, and it is a statement that the individual's academic qualifications are compliant to the Canadian educational standard. So this is for people who have less than 7 years of experience in the and they may be licensed in other countries, but they're not licensed in Canada. So we assess only the educational qualifications. The CES consists of standards and procedure for the assessment of both professional degrees accredited by CACB, so that's the one, those are the ones in Canada, and professional degrees or diplomas that are not accredited by CACB, which is outside of Canada. These standards and procedures are endorsed by the Regulatory Organization of Architecture in Canada, which is ROAC. It's one of our funding members. And CACB academic certification holders are recognized as having a professional degree or diploma in architecture, and that allows them to enter into internship in Canada. So sort of, there are multiple different stages in academic certification once we receive the application. So basically, once we receive all the required documents, we look at the eligibility and the completeness of the application. So the applicant needs to submit an online application and payment of the fee. Otherwise, we will not be able to assess the application itself. You must meet the eligibility requirements, and you must provide all required official documentation. So we are quite stringent on what kind of documents are eligible to be sent. It needs to be either certified true copies that have been certified by a notary public, or you can also provide originals from the university. Sometimes, the university gives you multiple different copies. And if they're not in either of the official languages of Canada, either English or French, they need to be translated into either of those languages by a certified translator. Then we look at the pre-assessment. This just provides additional, so if there's any information missing from the file or something needs more clarification, then we reach out to the applicant to provide additional information as needed or if needed. And then we look at the assessment. So we look at all the courses, how they correspond with the courses an applicant would have taken if they studied at Canadian universities. And again, if there are any missing information or anything that is not clear to us, then we will reach out to the applicant again, just to provide further information or further clarification. And then we get to the CACB certification. And then the possible outcome is either, so the assessment committee recommends a full certification, or there is also something that's called provisional certification, which means that there are some further studies required in certain areas of the applicant's knowledge. So, it can be it can be professional practice, it can be some construction courses. You are eligible, if you are provisionally certified, you are eligible to sign up for internship, but you need to finish the further studies courses within the next 18 months in order not to lose your provisional certification. And all further studies needs to be approved by us in terms of, and we look at if this is a course from approved institutions, or if it's the course that actually will help you improve in areas that the applicants may be missing further knowledge. All right, and then so eligibility. So you must have either a Bachelor of Architecture, which is a program that requires at least 5 years of study to make it a professional degree, or you can have a Master of Architecture, which is a program that requires minimum of 3 years of study after an unrelated bachelor degree, or there's a 2 years of study of the master's after a 4-year bachelor program that is related to, so it's pre-professional, let's say Bachelor of Architecture. And if it's, it needs to be minimum of 4 years in order to make the Masters of Architecture a professional degree. Then we also have multiple different modes of certification. So, so we have, graduates from Canadian accredited programs. So that is an auto certification because we know that the schools provide education that is aligned with the Canadian educational standard. We also have graduates of foreign schools of architecture who hold professional degrees in architecture. So this is most of our applicants who are coming to Canada from foreign countries with an architectural degree that is professional. Then we have Canberra Accord graduates. So Canberra Accord, the member countries, Hong Kong, China, Mexico, Canada, Australia is no longer a member of the Canberra Accord, even though it's named after one of the cities. So I would invite you to check the Canberra Accord website to see if your country qualifies and your education qualifies for being assessed as a Canberra Accord country. And then we have graduates from NAP accredited programs in the US. Basically, it works in the same way as the AutoCert. We know that the NAP accredited programs in the US, they satisfy the Canadian educational standards, and it is almost like an automatic certification. And then we have graduates from the RAIC syllabus. So this is a Canadian program who is not accredited by us, and the applicants needs to go through the same sort of scrutinized analysis of their educational experience as people from foreign countries. So successful applications. So it's we advise people to submit their application document and fees all at the same time to avoid processing delays. Submit only the required documents as stated on the CACB website. So it is the official course descriptions with credits and hours. So this is the course syllabus, or some universities call it the course calendars. This official course descriptions needs to correspond with the years when you were studying that program. We also have a library of, syllabi from multiple different universities, in which case you can just let us know that we have the syllabus on file and that you don't have to supply it if we have that on file. We need the official transcript from university. So that is something that needs to be sent by the university in a sealed and stamped envelope, either to you, who will then subsequently send it to us unopened, because it is an official document, or the university can send it directly to us in your name. And that's something we are quite stringent on, because it is an official document that proves your education and proves which courses you've taken. So we don't accept copies of transcripts. We don't accept we don't accept copies of transcript. It needs to be an official document sent either by you in a sealed envelope from the university, or it can be sent by the university directly to us. We also need a degree, so copy of your degree. Don't send your certificate, your diploma. And then we need a list of projects from you. So list of projects, it doesn't have to be exhaustive. We accept a maximum of 4 pages of all the projects you did in university. So it's not 4 pages per each project, it's 4 pages in total. And you have to submit detailed originals of all the documents or official documents or certified true copies. So like I mentioned before, certified true copies are copies of documents certified by a public notary. And certified translations in French or English are accepted. So accreditation, for someone who may be, wanting to further their education in architecture, so accreditation means that the program, or we provide accreditation program, and that means that the university architectural program has been evaluated and substantially meets the minimum educational standards that comprise an appropriate education for a particular profession. So CACB is the sole organization recognized to accredit professional architecture degree programs in Canada. So if it has not been accredited by us, it's not a professional degree. And the accreditation typically requires a self-evaluation by the program, followed by a site visit by a team of CACB volunteers. So, every couple of years, we send a team to evaluate what's actually going on in the school. And then if the program satisfies all the procedures and conditions of accreditation, then we grant them another term of accreditation. And then the accredited programs, actually, because they're accredited by us, all the graduates of Masters of Architecture in Canada, the programs submit a list every year of graduates, and we issue them an automatic certification because we know they satisfy, the students, the graduates satisfy the minimum requirements as set out in the Canadian educational standard right away. You don't assess their credentials on an individual basis. And so these are all our accredited programs in Canada. So we have one in British Columbia, in Calgary, in Manitoba. There's also quite a few in Ontario. So Laurentian University, University of Waterloo, Toronto Metropolitan University, University of Toronto. We have one here in Ottawa as well. It's Carleton University. We also have one, it's Dalhousie University, Université Laval, Université de Montréal, and McGill University in Quebec. And now we move towards BIFA certification. So it's broadly experienced foreign architect. Is an alternative pathway to licensure for foreign licensed architects. It was developed by the ROAC, so that's the Regulatory Organizations of Architecture in Canada, and it is administered by us, CACB. And the program assesses the broadly based experience of foreign architects against the Canadian standards of practice. And BIFA certificate holders can actually directly apply for licensure with the provincial or territorial associations they have chosen to register with. So you don't have to do internship, and you don't have to take an exam once you're BIFA certified. So the candidates that go through a BIFA program, there's multiple stages. So the eligibility, so you submit your paperwork. You first submit it online, and then you actually send the required documents via mail as well. And you must meet the eligibility requirements, which I will get into a greater detail later on. Then there's a demonstration of competences, and you have to sort of write about all your projects that you have taken part in your architectural career. And those are measured against 12 Canadian competency standards. It provides then we ask if, in case there's some information missing, we ask to provide additional information. And once the demonstration of competencies is done, then before the interview that I will get into a bit later, you are required to have at least 6 months experience of working at a Canadian architectural firm. And then once that is fully satisfied, then you are invited to an interview. So the interview can be remote or in person. Usually it is in person. It is more advisable to have it in person, especially if you are bringing documents for your projects that you want to talk about in greater detail, because the remote interviews are not as great when you have to share the screen and do it online. You are interviewed by the full panel. So the panel of assessors consists of the chair of the panel, regional assessor, and then also national assessor. And the regional assessor, that is based depending on which province you intend to practice architecture. And it follows recommended action based on the interview outcome. So usually, if you satisfied all the requirements during the interview, then you are fully certified, and you are then free to register with the provincial association. Or if there's any work that needs to be still done, then we recommend courses. It's called remedial action. That is that you're required to take, and once that course is, or once that the remedial action is finished, then you will get certified as well, and then you're free to register with a provincial licensing organization. And yes, so BIFA certification, so possible outcomes. So the panel recommends certification. That means you will receive a full certification and you're free to register and get licensed. And then there's also pre-licensure remedial action, which I mentioned. You will be required to take additional courses to satisfy the architectural standards. And BIFA eligibility. So let's talk more about the eligibility. So you need to be formally educated as an architect and completed an architectural degree or education. You must have practiced as a licensed registered architect in a foreign jurisdiction and have at least 7 years of post-registration or licensure experience in architecture within the last 12 years. So between 2024 to 2012. If it's before then, unfortunately, that doesn't count. And you will have obtained at least 6 months of relevant experience in Canada before the BIFA interview. So you can still start applying for BIFA. You can start the certification process even without the 6 months of experience in Canada. But once you get to the DOCs, which is the demonstration of competency, once you fulfill that, in order to be invited for interview, you need to have at least 6 months of experience in Canada. And this experience must be gained within 3 years before the date of the scheduled assessment interview. It must be gained under the personal supervision and direction of a registered or licensed architect within Canada. And it must expose you to the practice and regulatory requirements of architecture in Canada. And then successful application. So you must pay the fee. So there's 3 fees associated with the BIFA program. It is the eligibility fee, the demonstration of competency fees, and then there's also the interview fees. So this program is a bit more expensive just because, we really assess all your work that you have done and all the experience that you have gained as an architect in depth. And it is a 3-stage program, which take anywhere between, you can be done as fast as in 18 months. Some applicants that we have been taking more than 5 years. So it all depends on how fast you want to move through the BIFA program. your online profile is created and the electronic documents are uploaded. And then you submitted detailed original and official documents or certified true copies. So again, we need to have either the originals or true certified true copies. Otherwise, we would not be able to accept your documents. And they also, if they're not in either of the official languages, you need to have certified translations either in French or English. And we ask that you submit only the required documents that are stated on our website. So max 3 to 5 projects that address all the 12 competencies in the demonstration of competency. And projects can be either Canadian or international. And we do have a coordinator that can guide you through the whole process. So you're not left alone, trying to figure out what to do when it comes to the demonstration of competency. And that is all. And I included names of the coordinators for each of the programs. So academic certification program, the France is the coordinator. Then accreditation program, Marie-Hélène is the coordinator. And then for BIFA, there is Shannon Donovan. So here's the contact information in case you have any questions. And I think we also have questions right after this. So I will stop sharing. And now it's time for your questions.
Thank you
Yes.
so much, Victoria.
Thank you.
That is amazing. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, as we have the first question, please raise your hand and ask your question. First one is Azar.
Hi, good morning, and thank you, Victoria, for this great presentation. That's very helpful. And actually, as a person who comes from Iran, and I have my master and bachelor of architecture in Iran, and I've already applied for CACB to be accredited by CACB, and I'm waiting for their assessment. But I just realized, because you were talking about, the requirement for like the documents that we need to submit to CACB, and you mentioned that official transcripts need to be in the sealed like letter. And I realized that I didn't do that, and I was like perhaps an official transcript that I've sent to CACB already, and they haven't contacted me about that yet, but it's about 4 months that I've submitted my.
So what I would suggest is you can always send us an email. I can give you the email address, and we can definitely look at your file in a greater detail. I know with the Iran files, usually there's no issues because everything is very official from Iran. So if I can give you the email address if you'd like, and you can inquire
That would
about
be perfect. Thank you
Perfect.
so much. I appreciate that.
So the email for academic certification is academic certification, all one word,
okay,
at cacb.ca.
Thank you.
Yeah. And always include your file number for any inquiries.
Perfect. Yeah, sure, I will. Thank you so much.
Great. Not a problem. And I think we have more questions.
Yes, next one is Pooja. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, you're muted.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thanks to WorldSkills and all the experts from different organizations. Thanks for arranging this workshop. So, Victoria, my question was like, I have 12 plus years of experience. I want to apply for BIFA. What I want to know the case if you don't, qualify in the interview, then you mentioned that some remedial actions, what they may be like?
It's usually just a course that you have to take. Or you can also do a self-study, but we do have a list of remedial resources for you. So once you would get to that point, if needed, we can definitely provide you with a list of resources available to you that would satisfy the areas that you need to improve on. So it's usually a course, or if it may be a reading of certain materials. And then once that's finished, then we can definitely proceed to granting you a certification.
Okay. And also for the 6 months internship program, like before we have to pursue that internship and then we can apply for BIFA program. Is it like that?
No, so you can apply for BIFA program even without the 6 months experience in Canada. That and you can do that basically, you know, like we can go through the eligibility phase, and you can go through the DOC, which is the demonstration of competency phase. But the 6 months becomes a requirement before your interview. So in order to be invited to an interview, you need to satisfy the 6 months work experience in Canada.
So like for that internship, do you have any particular list of some licensed architects where we can apply and give the reference that yes, we have registered under BIFA?
So this is something that usually is posted on the provincial association's websites. They usually have like a little site or website or page where there are career postings. Or you can also reach out to architects or architectural firms directly and see if they're hiring. We don't keep a list of people who are hiring at the moment.
Okay, got it. And one more question. It was mentioned that 12 competencies standards, some Canadian standards are there. Where I can get them? Like, is it on website?
Yeah, so exactly. So everything becomes available to you once you go through the process. So first, you go through the eligibility, if you're even eligible to participate in the BIFA program. And then once that is deemed that you are eligible, and once you pay the DOC fee, then you are provided with all the 12 competencies. And then you basically write about how your work experience satisfies each of the competency.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Zainab.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I want to first thank everybody, and thank you, Victoria, for the presentation. So I got accredited by the CACB in 2019. But when I asked like how I can get like my license, it was a little bit complicated then. So it was like around 2 years of full-time experience, and then to pass 4 exams, and then all of that needs to be done within 3 years, something like that at that time when I asked. But I want to, and at that time, like for personal reasons, I could not do that. Like it was too tight for me, the timing. So I'm like, if something changed, if it's different now or not, or like if with the BIFA accreditation, it will be a different approach after getting certification.
Have you pursued the academic certification path or the BIFA program?
I think the academic one, because I submitted everything like, I think they didn't ask for 6 months experience in Canada when I said, but I submitted the rest.
Certification, yeah. So, and you got fully certified. You have the certificate. Okay. So once you get fully certified by us, then the internship requirement for any questions regarding the internship and the exams, you would have to reach out to one of the provincial associations.
Okay.
So, you know, it is a requirement. You have to finish the internship, and then you have to pass the exams in order to be fully licensed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So is the contact will be on the website or?
The contact, if you go to the ROAC website,
Okay.
you can find the information there. Or do you know which province you intend on practicing in?
Ontario.
Ontario. So there would be the Ontario Association of Architects, so OAA. If you go on their website,
okay.
There is a contact us page, and then they're very quick in responding. And they will let you know which steps you need to take in order to get licensed.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next question is from G.
I think it's me.
Yes.
Hi, Victoria. Thank you very much.
Hi.
This is something that I've been thinking for so long, and it's always so complicated. I'm from Venezuela, South America. So because of the situation back there, it's so hard to get paperwork. I finally did last year. I spent a lot of money. I still have to translate everything. But when you talk about the envelope, I freaked out.
The official, yes. So
there is no way in the world that I can get that.
No, absolutely. So we're currently working on procedures for applicants, who come from countries with war, conflict, natural disasters. So there is always, we always assess those based on individual, like case by case.
Okay.
The best way to get more information about this would be to directly reach out to the academic team.
Okay.
And they will be able to help you come up with equivalents or with ways how you can, maybe it could be a statement from the embassy, it could be, but there's definitely ways, and we're working on publishing an official procedures that would help candidates who are having issues obtaining their official documents.
Okay, that's very helpful. Also, my situation is very particular. I'm in Canada since 2014. Since the process was very complicated and I couldn't get my paperwork, I went to an architectural technology program. So I've been working in Canada under the supervision of architects for 4 years now. I understand that I still need to get my accreditation, but will that help me through the process, or that doesn't count as an experience?
You mean like if the fact that you're working under an architect will help you in the certification process? So if you're pursuing the academic certification route, then no, we only look at the educational credentials.
Okay. But if I want to go through the
BIFA, it would basically satisfy the 6 months requirement that we have before the interview, that you need to work in Canada under a licensed architect.
Because also, since I've been here for 10 years, it's like my previous experience back home. It's almost not in the bracket.
I understand where you're going. So for a more specific answer, I would suggest to reach out to our BIFA coordinator, Shannon.
If I told you that I was occupied with access or power of choice.
Sorry? So the BIFA coordinator email, I will put that right in. So BIFA coord. So it's BIFA coord at cacb.ca. And I just sent it.
Okay.
So definitely reach out to Shannon. She will be able to give you more answers to your questions, and then you can go from there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I will take the next 5 questions, and then we will have 2 more presentations. And then at the end, we will have another round of questions. So I have Farkas, Huda, Rawan, Shahnaz, and Ali. Farkas, you go ahead, please. Are you there, Farkas?
Zara, there's also just a couple of questions in the box which I think might be worthwhile.
I am just
responding
going
to.
through that. So I know Zahir Ahmed, he asked questions. What if I evaluate my degree through WES? It is also considered by CACB, or is evaluation by CACB mandatory? So to answer this question, evaluation by CACB is mandatory. We don't take into consideration WES evaluation. The WES evaluation, so we just launched a new program with the IRCC. People who wants to apply for the IRCC Express Visa entry, we provide ECA report. So that is we evaluate the educational credentials. So it is the same as WES, but it is now only administered by us for the purpose of, applying for the Foreign Express visa.
So that means if anybody is applying for that when they arrive, they don't have to do that again now. So that's a new step.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But in terms of if WES evaluation will help you with your CACB certificate, it won't.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Victoria. Thank you for the presentation. It's very clear. I have started the recognition program with CCCA for my architecture diploma, and I wanted to ask, what is the normal delay to get an answer, because I didn't have any news from them since April.
So currently, right now, we are experiencing a high volume of applications, as well as we are trying to still manage a backlog from COVID times. So currently, the processing times are between 6 to 7 months before being certified. So if you send in your application in April and there were no additional documents that were required for your application, then we're slowly getting closer to the time of your evaluation.
So it should come soon.
Exactly. And you can always reach out to us in terms of just, asking if we have an approximate month where your application would be assessed. We always say that it is an approximate timeline. We don't like to give applicants, set months, just in case there are some things that prevent us from assessing your file on the particular month. But we are slowly chipping off in the backlog and trying to process applications faster.
Okay, I have looked into the BIFA program. And I wanted to ask, like you mentioned about some fees, like do you have any estimation about how much is going to cost in total if I apply for this program?
Yes, so BIFA fees altogether, the total comes, it is around $6,500. Plus, you have to pay for your own accommodation and travel when you travel to have BIFA interviews.
Okay, and at least 18 months to get it, right?
At least 18 months, yeah, exactly. If everything, if you satisfy all the requirements.
So my case is that I have been graduated in architecture in 2010. I did like 2 years internship in Belgium, Belgium, which is not a recognized country in the list, so it's not in France. And I was registered back then, but being an architect in Belgium, you can do architecture without being registered, so you can save all the fees and everything, which means most of the time I was doing architecture for big offices, but I didn't sign the plans on my name, even though I was the responsible one. So in that case, do I qualify for BIFA or not?
So in this case, or in a case where you practice architecture in a country or jurisdiction that doesn't require a license to be able to practice, you need to obtain a letter stating that that particular jurisdiction or country does not require a license for an architect to practice independently.
It depends what you call practice, because actually I was working for offices, but I was not signing in my name. I was signing for the
So
office.
if you can, yeah, but if you were to, in case you open your own practice, would you be able to practice architecture without the license?
No, in that case, I need to get the license if I want to sign it on my name.
Okay, so this is something I know Shannon can provide more information on. I don't want to say one thing and then it turns out to be another, but it's definitely something you should reach out to Shannon about, and she will be able to provide more specific information for your case.
Okay, I see. Something else is that OAQ from Québec, Ordre des Architectes du Québec, is also proposing a similar program to BEFA.
Yes.
Do you have also any information about this?
No, unfortunately, regarding that program from OAQ, I don't have any information, but it is a similar to BIFA process.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next one is Huda.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hello. Okay, perfect. Good morning. Thank you, Victoria, for your presentation. I'm going through the academic accreditation, and I did check the library. I graduated from the Lebanese University, and I did my master's degree in France from École Nationale Supérieure d'Architecture de Paris-La Villette. And I did check the library, and I did found the syllabus for my university, but it's a bit old. So it's from 2009, I think, and I graduated in 2018. So I assume I cannot use it.
So
is it correct?
It's usually okay if it's overlapped some years and then some years are not there, but the time difference, it is quite big, and I think the curriculum may have changed from 2009 to 2018. So if you could find a syllabus that is sort of overlap some of the years that you were at the university with the calendar that we have on file, that should be fine. But unfortunately, in this case, I would suggest obtaining the actual course calendar from your institution.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. So in that case, I'm willing to send all the syllabus for all my courses, but I'm trying to, match the courses on the application, the online application, and I'm finding this difficult to just find the exact course that matches the proposed course online, that matches the Canadian curriculum. And sometimes it's two courses from my university that matches one courses from the Canadian curriculum, I would say. So is there any way that I can have help filling the application just to make sure that I'm filling it in the right way, or am I going to do it myself?
Absolutely. Yeah, you should definitely reach out to the academic certification team. I think we shared the email address earlier. It's the academic certification at cacb.ca, and we can definitely help you with those courses.
Okay, perfect.
It's always better to put in more courses than less, because it is also about your hours, and there's a specific amount of total hours that we require. So they will definitely be able to help you.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Next question is Rawan.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Victoria. I have a very quick question. I'm just wondering, would the PhD count towards an experience in any way here in Canada?
Sorry, what was the experience?
A PhD?
PhD?
A PhD in architecture, yeah.
So this is something, is it?
I found this on the web for what was the experience PhD in.
It was my Siri just started talking to me. So is this more so an academic?
Yes, it's an
PhD?
academic degree, yeah.
So I think
and it
in this
includes
case,
some practical,
okay, so
some practical work, yeah.
Okay, so that is usually different than what we encounter on a daily basis. Usually the PhDs are solely just academic. So you should, again, reach out to the academic team and they will be able to help you if that would count towards your professional degree.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Shanis, please. Shanis, are you available?
Hello
Okay.
everyone. Yeah. Do you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria, for your presentation.
Pleasure.
I am from Algeria and I am graduate of Master of Architecture. I studied in French and I have 12 experience in this field in the same company. I would like to know if a letter of reference from the employer is required for BIFA certification.
Usually it is, but I would not include it right away in the application. When you apply for eligibility, we usually assess it based on your CV. So your resume, it needs to be very detailed in terms of what kind of responsibilities you were performing while you were employed with this employer, in order for us to see like, yes, you've been, you satisfy the eligibility requirement. And in case there were any doubts, then we would reach out to you. And then one of the ways how we could confirm that you indeed have gained those experiences would be to reach out to your employer. But right now, you don't have to include it in the initial application.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last question from Ali.
Hi, Victoria. Thank you for
Hi.
answering these questions. It's been very helpful. So I'm going through my academic certification right now. Now, one of my questions has already been answered, but I'll just like to clarify. The course calendar that I found in your library, it partially covers the time I was there. So that's good to go, I think, because it
That
covers
should be
most
fine.
of my time.
Exactly. That should be fine. And if we have any additional questions, then we will definitely reach out to you.
Okay, the second question, I think that's already been addressed as well, but I'll just like to it's about the courses. I graduated more than a decade ago, so a lot of the details are kind of hazy. So there were questions like studio hours per week and all of those things, which I might not be able to answer perfectly right now. So if I have any problems in that regard while filling out the the descriptions, so is there any help available?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. You can always reach out to us via the academic email and they will be able to help you. Or you can also call us directly to the office.
Okay.
So I can give the phone number. I'm just going to type it in. It's 613-241-8399. And that's going to go to our front desk, and they will then transfer you to the academic certification team.
Well, perfect. Thank you very much. Just one last question. Considering that the time frame has increased quite a bit, like 7 months, I'm sure other people from my institution have gone through the process because the calendars are there. Is there some way to find out what the results of their evaluations were? So if there are any remedial actions that are required, if I can just start them earlier, if it's possible.
Yeah, so unfortunately, when it comes to sharing other people's evaluation outcomes, we are bound by the Privacy Act of Canada and we are not able to provide that information. However, if you know people who went through the program, they should be able to tell you if there were any, obstacles or additional information needed.
No, I didn't mean from the perspective of people. I just wanted to know if, for my university, what the usual outcome is. So but it's just if there are any.
Where did you study?
Indus Valley School in Karachi, Pakistan.
Ooh, so that we don't get many files from Pakistan, so I am not 100% sure. But based on in case you think that your degree is professional, like it's master's or bachelor, and it satisfies the amount of years that we require, then it should be deemed as professional degree.
Well, thank you very much. That was a problem I was facing because it's very difficult to find people who've gone through the process from Pakistan. So I had a lot of questions. Yeah, so thank you very much. I'll definitely contact the number.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks again, Victoria, for the presentation and the amazing answers. Now we go to our next presentation and we will take care of the questions, if any, at the next round. So our next presenter is Mehdi Zahed from Algonquin College, licensed architect and professor from Algonquin College. Thank you so much again, Mr. Zahed, for accepting our invite, and thank you for your patience. So, shall we start now?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Mrs. Azizi. It is my pleasure to be here today. I prepared a quick PowerPoint presentation to have a visual appearance of what I am trying to say. So probably our audience can get more of this conversation today. This is the title for this is the path to becoming a licensed architect in Canada. So this is a really broad question, and I try to basically walk you through this process in a higher umbrella, and then get you to understand the process a little bit from a different perspective that we just heard from CACB people. By the way, thank you very much for this useful information by CACB representative, and it was really helpful. This is 16 basically slides, and we are working through that. I try to respect the time. We had 20 minutes, so I'm going to basically close it up as quickly as I can. I'm a registered architect. I'm a professor of architectural technology in Algonquin College. The things I'm saying here is my personal opinion. I'm not representing Algonquin College officially, but this is basically what my experience was throughout the time that I've become an architect. I'm a licensed architect in Ontario. I got my license in Ontario. I moved to Alberta. I practiced for 10 years in Alberta, then back to Ontario again, having the license now here. I basically more than 30 years of experience altogether in academia and practice. And right now I am in Ottawa campus teaching architectural technology and technician. And basically, I completed the process many years ago. So my experiences might help the others. So it might be a success story for some of you as a foreign trained architects. Again, thank you very much for providing me the opportunity for presenting for today's conversation. As a background, what I can explain is when I came to Canada back in 2002, which is more than 22 years now, it was really difficult to understand the whole process. No one was here to turn yourself into. When I landed in Toronto, I drove from Toronto to Ottawa to go to the CACB office to see people in person, because the website was not even as complete as what it is today. And I needed to see somebody. I mean, we are a social creature, which is really different from what you see people on a screen or taking a part in a online programs. Now we have the technology, and the mentorship is available in Canada, across even the world. So this recording is going to save so many people's time, because we are basically putting it up in online and people can use it. A few years ago, during the COVID time and pandemic, I started to do my lectures as a recorded lectures for my students at Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, where I was teaching before. And I decided to explain the process and mentoring the students in Farsi. The reason I chose Farsi is because I saw so many applicants coming from Iran, and they were completely lost. And the Farsi is a really rich language in especially architecture. It has more than 7,000 years of architecture, and translating all those jargons from rich Farsi to English that we are using here in most of parts of Canada. I'm not a Francophone, unfortunately, but I try to basically explain everything in a plain Farsi for the audience so I understand what they are binding themselves into. And this is my YouTube channel. If you understand Farsi, I would recommend you to take a look at it. It may become something that you can start with as a collecting information. And so many responses I received throughout the time, and people thanked me because of the content provided there. So that's just a side conversation. The objective for this session is briefly explain the travel path of to becoming a licensed architect here in Canada. The second objective is the providing the recommendations to support the newcomers to in Canada, as I was there exactly where you were sitting, and I'm hoping that I can relate to your situation, to seeing the bigger picture, and explain the typical challenges and opportunities in this journey. We have a lot of opportunities as a newcomers to Canada, as a licensed architect back in your country or wherever you've been practicing. Now you are here. These are all helping us to get a better understanding of where we are at. Basically, adjusting our life. That's the first and foremost challenges for all the newcomers. Take care of your health and safety and body and mind. So this is the first message. You need to be really cautious about your health, because this is a big change in everyone's life when you are moving from one country to another country, when you're changing the language, when you're changing the environment that you are not used to. Even high and buy in your own culture is different from what you're binding yourself into. And then I had so many students from everywhere in the world, they came to me and said, why the socialization and the social life here in Canada is not like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's because it's a different country. So you need to be flexible. You need to be adaptive. So you need to adopt the language. You need to adopt the social life, personal life, and professional life. These are all differences. If you had someone in your office, or back then in Iran, it was like that, still today, we have one person responsible to bring in tea to your desk. We call it abdarchi. But we don't have it here. You need to stand up, go and pour your coffee and come back. This is completely different environment. So you need to understand that. And these are all the challenges that it is creating some maybe in understanding of what's going on. So a daily routine, get enough nutrition, get enough sleep, get enough physical activities. If you don't have that and you change your routine and you think, I'm going to work harder so to get to this quicker and faster, and all the time people talking about time and time and time. But you need to understand your body has the capacity. So many people, they may make themselves sick because of not having a typical routine for their life. And this is unfortunate, but take care of yourself. That's really simple by having a daily routine and a physical activities. What comes next is the goal setting to performing in an in-depth research. First, now you are here in Canada with a new environment, having a different setting, and you need to understand what is an architect's job. If you have an idea about architect's job back in your country or wherever you've been practicing, this might not be exactly as per your previous experiences. So get yourself to talk to people in the field. Try to reach out. A lot of architects around. You can go to their offices, knock the door, and ask them the questions. Or a lot of videos are available. The YouTube channels are available. Get yourself to understand what is an architect's job. Is this what you really think of? Is this what you're really picture for the future to do it every day? It's a day-to-day work, and the responsibilities you have as an architect is not just sitting there and doing a pretty building and someone builds your idea and it's going to be really become a famous architect here or there. This has a completely different basically setting, which I would really recommend you to do your own due diligence. Go through the office, the practice of architecture, understand what you're doing and how you're binding yourself to the legal aspects of this. and then basically align your vision for the future. This is an opportunity for us because it is what I want to do with my life. Really? Yes or no? After this is a big opportunity if you are interested in interior architecture. This is totally a different travel path. If you're really interested to managing the project, being on the job site and everyday construction management, might be a different path for that, easier than this. So architecture has its own requirements, its boundaries, and I would recommend you to take a look at that in depth and learn where you're going to have no confusion. You must have a license in architecture in Canada, otherwise you cannot call yourself an architect. This is a really serious business. This is buying with the people's health and safety. Whatever you wear back in your own country without having a license, mine is hanging off the wall, must have the license in architecture. If you don't have that, you are not eligible to call yourself an architect. This is related to the health and safety of society. So many abuse of the name of architects may happen here or there, and the architecture regulatory bodies are watching the business and industry so closely. So you need to basically go through the process in order to call yourself an architect. What is the process? So the travel path starts with your education. You have to submit your document to Canadian Architectural Certification Board, CACB. Victoria did a fabulous presentation explaining what they have, and all the information are available in the website. Get used to it, to get all the information from the website. You as an architect need to do so much of research every day to get the information from the manufacturers, the material providers, the contractors, so on and so forth. So you need to familiarize yourself to self-study the website. I am not going to give answers that are already in the website. So please, please, please get yourself familiarized with the information in the website. If this is a part of your learning, this is part of the journey, and you need to basically obtain the information from there. So many of the questions were happened today, with no offense, the answer was on the CACB website, and Victoria patiently was answering all of them. Thank you so much again. There are two travel paths. It's academic accreditation, which I went through that. Back then, BIFA was not an option. And it is not my saying, but the people went through the BIFA process. They said it is difficult. So what I would recommend for those of you who want to have an established life and business in Canada, go through the academic accreditation. You're providing yourself with a longer period of time for learning, and then maybe you get your license a year earlier, but that does not basically affect your long-term life when you are learning it in depth with the use of mentors, with the working in the different offices and environments, to basically become a successful architect. You need to see the perspective for about 20, 25 years to become to the top of your business. So a year here or there is not going to change your life as much. What I would suggest, go through the academic accreditation, make sure you have all the foundation for the knowledge, and then start your internship architectural program, IAP, which is a really valuable time working under the supervision of the other architects in your field. You familiarize yourself with the office environment in Canada. Small offices, mid-sized offices, or large offices, they have different environment. They have different culture. Which one do you really like to get into? The time you are spending in internship is not only toward having the license. Here is the license. Yes, what do you want to do with it? Do you really know about the business of architecture in Canada? Are you really get yourself involved of the different size of the offices and different occupancies and specializations in architecture throughout your internship? This is something that you are going to learn throughout the IAP program, which I extremely recommend you to do that. Moving on to passing the exact exam, that is something that everyone has to go through it. Familiarize yourself with the jargons, learn the information from exact website. If you type exact exams, you can get to that website, and it's going to help you to understand the materials. They are going to ask the questions. They're going to basically provide you with some samples of questions. And this is a really, really valuable website. I'm recommending you to dive into it. Where to start? You are in the right spot. This is basically gathering information. This is the gathering knowledge. So I can't thank enough from Zahra and her team that they provided this opportunity online for all of us to get together in one place and talking about the related, exactly what you need to do to start, right? Attend seminars, build a support system. I will discuss them a little bit in depth as we are moving forward. Study daily. The knowledge of architecture doesn't come overnight. You need to study daily and learn as you are moving forward. Studies website. I can't reinforce that as many times as it's needed. You have to have that knowledge and the skills to obtain the information from different websites. Go through the CACB process. Read it carefully, understand it, categorize it. Make understanding of how you should fill the forms. I had experience working with the mentees that they wrongly filled the forms and the process become longer. They skipped some of the skills and courses they had, and they had to go and pay for the courses and extra. These are the stuff that you need to get the mentors, and these are so important for the foreign trained architects. The Provincial Association, sorry for the spelling, for Ontario is the Ontario Association of Architects, OAA. It's AIBC for Alberta, for British Columbia, Architectural Institution of British Columbia, respectively, and AAA, Alberta Association of Architects, Manitoba Association of Architects, Saskatchewan Association of Architects. All the provinces, they have their own websites. Read the exact website, has a lot of fabulous knowledge about the exams, and you can basically gauge yourself. If they're asking this type of questions, hence these materials provided. Hence, if I learn these references, I would be more eligible to find a job and working with the industry in my province. When you're attending the seminars, those seminars are related to the field, and they are similar to the work skills as we are working in here, which is a very good opportunity. You need to attend to resume writing. Some of fabulous architects I used to work with them, and I've been a mentor for so many. They had a fabulous resume, but the way they would write that, it's not a Canadian format. The way they write that, it's not applicable for the position that they are applying. When you have a PhD in architecture, you are more eligible to work in the architectural, in research centers. Architectural offices don't look for someone to do the research. If you know a lot of information about higher level and management and you do not have any Canadian experience, you can't find a job. I mean, this is a really slim chance to get a job at the higher level as the managers. So you need to basically walk up to the ladder, step by step. Eventually, you're going to get there, but you have to familiarize yourself with the bottom-up information. How to create your own portfolio, how that portfolio can be effective, what you need to say on the interview session. I provided like about the 2 hours of recording and my website, but they are all in Farsi in my YouTube channel. But these are the topics you need to really familiarize yourself with. Find what is helping you. For every individual, this is different. I mean, sometimes you have a phone and you are talking to your family member in WhatsApp and saying, hi, I'm by, makes you energized. Talk to a family member. This might not working for somebody else. The learning process for people are different. So every individual needs to have a plan for learning, to build the support system, to make sure that you are moving forward. Finding a mentor, that's a really crucial one if you can find someone in your area. Find the like-minded people, like people in this group, and then create a study group. If it was not because of my study group, it would have been impossible to pass the exact exam. we've been working together. We've been coming to one room every week and doing basically a study to helping each other to go through the process. Study daily, because learning won't happen overnight. Set a daily goal to fill up those gaps, see where the gaps are. If you need to learn language, if you need to create a portfolio, if you don't know the wood frame structure, if you are not familiarized with the methods and materials of construction in your region, please find those gaps and study daily. If you are not doing it every day, it's not going to come overnight. For the technical terminologies and technical knowledge. Take courses at colleges. I can't reinforce how applicable are the courses in the college. When you go to college, they will provide you with ABCs of the nuts and bolts for the construction, for the architectural technologies. That doesn't deliver it at the university level. So those are kind of different setting for the newcomers. So most of the topics you learn in the university, they're already going to be repetitive. But when you go to the colleges, they will provide you with the hands-on experiences for the daily problems, and it's going to be more in line with the job you are going to take on most of the time in the architectural offices. Benefit from the online programs, and those online courses can help you a lot. So these are the different ways of learning. Internship skills, effective communication. You have to have the interpersonal skills of talking to people, because most of you are having a lot of talents, but maybe you are not presenting yourself the way it should. I would encourage you to learn active listening, clear and concise communication. In Farsi, we are beating around the bush a lot, and then not being as precise and crisp as what you want to say. You've got to be really crisp to explain yourself. Presentation skills. This is something you have to benefit, especially in the interview session. Make sure you understand the emails ethic, where you put CC, BCC. This stuff is really important, and it shows how ethical you are working in your environment. Handling the constructive feedback when people telling you something, do not take it as personal. So don't get discouraged, just move on and try to create, to make yourself better. Have an online resume. I can't reinforce how important to have a LinkedIn page. That's really a good platform for the students and the graduates to broadcast themselves and show their abilities. And even you can put your online portfolio on LinkedIn. In conclusion, we are all growing and we need to learn every day. Stay positive and seek the professional support, and try to be connected to the people in your industry, because the society of architects is thirsty. It needs a lot of professionals like yourself, and you are here for a big aim to become an architect in Canada. Never give up that dream. And this market is thirsty and needs a really educated and skilled people like you to basically contribute to the society. Especially, we need a lot of buildings in Canada. Everywhere you go, there are so many construction going on, and that's really, really important for the country. The reason you're here is to become who you want to become. Support each other. Never let your friends go, because there are so much of opportunity here that you can basically benefit from this. And this is not the resources that become limited. It's not limited. So it's growing, and you can help each other with embracing the support and then making the society moving forward. And as many as I can basically reinforce that the construction is the leading of the development in Canada. And do not forget to enjoy the journey, because this journey is continuous. And it's going to be always in front of you, and we are all learning every day. But if you don't learn to how to put yourself in the position of learning and enjoying and servicing and getting back to the society, that's how we are all growing, and together this is going to be easier. Thank you very much for providing me with this opportunity. I'm sorry that it may take a little bit longer than what it was, but I didn't want to lose this opportunity to say what I needed to say for the audience. Thank you very much, Zahra, and the rest of the audience. Thank you, Barbara and Victoria.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing information. Thanks so much. Are there any questions from the attendees? Yeah, we have two questions from Azar and Mamata. Azar, please go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Zahed. It was a fantastic presentation, very inspiring. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to thank all the team, like Zahra's team and other people that put all this together. It was really great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just have one question because I mentioned that I've applied for CACB and I'm waiting for the results from them. And then I'm working as a drawing technician somewhere in Victoria, British Columbia. And I know that my supervisor is not an architect, but I know that in other departments, there are some people that they have their, like they are registered architects. And after I get my assessments results, is it okay if I continue as a drawing technician and I get a person like one of the architects in my company as a mentor?
The answer is yes. Thank you very much for your positive comment. Victoria is the best place to live. Just hang in there. This is beautiful. I used to live in BC. I was teaching at Thompson Rivers University in Kamloops for 1 year during 2005 and 2006. BC is an amazing place, especially Victoria. And if you go to Butcher Garden, please remember me. I have my pen holder here is from Butcher Garden. So this is basically, whenever it's on my desk, I'm take a look at it. It reminds me Butcher Garden. Yes, the answer is yes. The architecture community is very helpful. After you become an intern architect with AIBC, you should talk to your employer and then ask them to help you to collect your hours of experience. They may need to relocate you from one team to another team. However, the answer is yes. The company is going to help you. You need to talk to your employer saying, here is my CACB approval. Here is my AIBC intern letter. So officially you become an intern architect. Then you need to collect your hours of experience starting your IAP, intern architects program. And then the mentorship will happen beside that as a parallel. And the answer is yes. Yeah, just stick to it and keep learning every day.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Azar. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. And Mamata, you go ahead, please.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for this very wonderful workshop, very informative. My question is to Mehdi. Regarding the mentor, where can I find a mentor? Is it only accessible for intern architects? How do I get to the directory?
Very good question. You can find a mentor through the website. If you are an intern architect, the provincial association, normally they have the list of the mentors available. That's one source. The other source is walk into the universities, walk into the architectural offices, and try to find the name of the architects in your region through the directory of the Association of Architects in your place of you're there, and then reach out to them. Mentorship is something volunteer. And if someone become volunteer to help you to go through the process, they would make a commitment to help you at least 1 hour per month to talk with you or have a meeting with you online or sit down with you, have a coffee and chat and give you some advice. You need to find them. This is just a voluntary help, and this is the best way to me to getting back to the society, and the architectural community supports that. So go through the directory of your region and then find the architects, email them and ask them for an informal mentorship. You can find amazing people. You won't believe it.
Thank you so much. Another question I have is regarding the international hours. I was told that we can submit our international hours and then we get an exemption of some amount of internship that we need to do here. So even for that, we register and then we do the process, correct?
Hours of experience, it's related to your internship. So first you need to get your degree approved by CACB. And the people are here and explained it so well. Get your CACB approval, your degree is approved, you become an intern architect. When you become an intern architect, and then you need to collect the hours of experience. Those hours of experience has to be submitted in Ontario to OAA. And then they are going to evaluate what you have done, and they may accept some of them or they may accept all of them. It's a lengthy process, but you need to keep communicating and following up with the Ontario Association of Architects if you're in Ontario. So they would let you know very soon how many hours they accept. What I suggest, start everything in Canada fresh. This is the best time for you to learn everything from scratch. I mean, if you become an architect tomorrow, do you have the guts and responsibility and the full knowledge of taking over a $70 million project, $10 million a project, $2 million a project, or $100,000 of renovation for a house? If things goes wrong, who's going to pay for that error and omissions? I would suggest to go through the internship. This is a best time to relearn the things that you learn and make sure with the full confidence that you can pay back to the society with a perfect knowledge of where you're at and how you want to basically continue your work, because the society is small. I mean, if you make a wrong call, this goes quickly around, and you want to make a good brand of your name and your expertise. So learn as much as you can. This is the best time to learn, and take it as the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Welcome to Canada.
Thank you. I think Barb has something to add here, right?
I think Maziar is before, so I can just quickly add, because I just want to pick up on the, first off, Victoria and Mehdi, both thank you very much. It's really, really lovely, helpful, informative presentations. Mehdi, just on your comment around mentorship, so absolutely informal mentorships, networking, getting out there and meeting people, but also just recognizing that the credential recognition program, particularly if you're here in Ottawa, and if you're not in Ottawa, we can connect you with other programs, but we do have a program to match newcomers with mentors in their specific field of expertise as well. So through the credential recognition program, there's mentorship. Also, there's financial assistance in the form of loans, because it's a process and it does cost. So, there is some assistance there, as well as support from Zara in terms of navigating the credential assessment process, someone to bounce ideas off of or questions, and to look at, okay, while I'm doing my licensing, what kind of other careers and possibilities can I be doing while I'm doing the licensing process? So just to let you know, we're going to send some information about the credential recognition program as well. And at World Skills, we have a whole host of job search programs. So like Mehdi was saying, is your resume, your interview techniques, everything needs to be Canadianized, right? So come to World Skills here in Ottawa. There are organizations across the country as well that do similar kinds of things, and prepare yourself well for entry into that field while you're doing all the other bits and pieces as well, right? So you got lots of work to do. You're going to be busy, and we understand, for many people, the financial needing to get a job and bring finances in is really important. Talk to us about that. Maybe there's some other kind of opportunities that can help you in that front as well through World Skills. And the one question I had for Mehdi, and maybe Victoria as well, if you were going to recommend 2 courses to our architects here to help them kind of upskill, right? The one I have in my mind is Canadian building codes, and I don't even know if that's right. What would be the top priorities you would say for an architect to, to be able to enter into an alternative career in that sector while they're doing their licensing.
I would pass it to Victoria first, so you go ahead and then I'll follow on that.
Thank you so much. So I think in terms of, taking additional courses, that may not be required if the education satisfies all the, Canadian educational standards. So don't take any courses, additional courses before you actually get certified or before you start the process, because you may not have to take them. However, I always support, self-study and self-education and sort of continuous education. So you can definitely take courses if you want to for your own, further education, further personal development. But like Mehdi said, I'm also an immigrant, and it took me a long time to sort of become more Canadianized when it comes to, dealing with like potential employers, how to create a resume, how to sort of even reach out to potential employers, how to network. So I think it's definitely worth focusing on these soft skills as well, because that's going to help you have a jump start once you start looking for those connections in the workplace.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, this is an amazing question, Barbara. Thank you very much for contributing the opportunities is here in Ottawa, and the other candidates from the other parts of the country. They need to talk to the settlement counselors, and they can help them. They have different programs in BC, everywhere in Canada. So reach out. That's really important. Some of the information Barbara was saying, it was new to myself after 20 some odd years living in Canada, but we all learning. So this is basically a good roadmap to a start. The courses are required for those who are coming from the countries with a different climate, with a different building system and materials. If you're coming from South America, coming from Middle East, you don't have experience with wood frame structure, period. So what I would suggest, take the courses in wood frame structure, because this is something, it takes you to the job site. This takes you to finding a job better. I didn't know that, and I had to start working as a laborer, helping a carpenter to put the wall up. I didn't know they built the wall on floor and then tip it up. It was not like that, because I'm a good bricklayer. I knew how to do the bricklayer because it was part of my courses during the education, but no wood frame understanding. How the 3 studs corner is working, how the connection or partition to the outside wall is working. That's one. Wood frame structure, that's one. 2, building science. What is important here in Canada is -50 outside. It was impossible for me to even imagine living in a -50 degrees Celsius, which I experienced in Edmonton a few years ago. And it stays for -40, -35, and those brutal cold, it's affecting the construction and the building system. So you need to learn the value of building science, why the heat transfer is important, why the water formation and dew point is important, how the wall is made of different layers, what is the rain screen principles. These are all coming from building science. There are some credentials and the self-learning materials from OBIC, that's the Ontario Building Envelope Council. Ontario Building Envelope Council. And we have one in Ottawa, we call it BECOR, the Building Envelope Council of Ottawa region. So OBIC and BECOR. There are 2 main streams for learning building science. They have seminars, they have webinars, they have a YouTube channel. You can listen to the conversations and familiarize yourself with these 2 topics. Aside from building code that Barbara was talking about it, building science, wood frame structure. These 2 courses, that's my recommendation, beside building code.
I agree with you, because I think that's going to give them a jump start once they start looking for an employment. You're right.
Correct.
Thank you, Mehdi. Thank you, Victoria. And I just want to make sure Maziar gets his question answered. Sorry, Zara.
Yes, sure. Maziar, you go ahead, and then we will have another amazing presentation about one of those programs that would be helpful for you. Yeah, go ahead, Maziar.
Yeah, my question actually is not a question. It is a question for sure. Yeah. So in my career in Canada, I talked with several Canadian architects, and none of them knew what BIFA is. So just to confirm what Mehdi said, I I know that it's very hard to find a job with BIFA title. Even intern architect is familiar for them, so they can be hired, I think, easily. Because I started the procedure to be the program to be an architect in Canada under BIFA program, and 2 years ago I got that the eligibility, but I didn't go forward for the demonstration of competency because I heard a lot that it's very frustrating. It takes a lot of time, and the process is sometimes very long. And today I learned that it may take 5 years. However, it might be just not because of the students, sorry, applicants. It can be the other side. So CACB may be too slow sometimes to answer the comments. I don't know how long, if there is any obligation or something on CACB that answers or replies or leave comments on the applications or not. I don't know. It is my question actually. That is there any time frame for CACB people to leave comments on the materials that they receive? Because I want to make a decision to go to demo or not. First,
Okay,
this is my one question.
I want to confirm, but my understanding, are you a BIFA designated? Have you received your BIFA accreditation?
Oh no, I
No.
started that. The eligibility is done, and now I want to make a decision to jump in the second stage or not.
I see. Okay, so now you're where you're at. Okay. Well, what I heard from the other people in the field, the questions they're going to ask you in the interview, it's 100% related to the Canadian experience. If you are not familiar with the site, let's say, review, change orders, request for information, site instruction, change directive, all the purchase orders that architects is involved and need to approve them, then there is a less chance to pass that BIFA. You have to have an in-depth knowledge of what's going on today in Canada, and you have to have a confidence that as an architect, you can handle the position as an architect in a project. Do you want to go through that or not? This is your call. But the things I heard from the other applicants and my mentees in the past, they told me this is a really, really tough process. And plus, when you get your BIFA, remember, this is not a reciprocity between Canada and US. So you would not get your designation in US. But if you go through the educational process that everybody else went through it, including myself, when you become an architect, you can get your designation in United States. This is what I heard from outside, but I don't have the 100% the accurate answer to this. I would leave it back to Barbara. Victoria, because she's from CACB and she can answer that. Yes.
Thank you. So Maziar, can I just ask you, were you saying that it is difficult to get a hold of someone from the BIFA program?
I heard from some people who applied and they are in the middle of the process that when they send documents to for that 12 areas of competency, it takes months to get answered from CACB. So it that can be one of the reasons that it really takes time.
So it's not this has not happened in your particular case.
No, it's not my case. Yeah. I didn't start that. I want to start that, but I am scared that if I start this, then I will spend 5 years, and at that time I will be retired, because now I am working for a very good architecture company here in Canada. So I'm happy with my job as an architectural designer. I don't need that license. So today I was thinking that, even it's better if I restart everything and I start from scratch by academic approach. So why should I pay my money and my time and my life for something that takes 5 years from today, yeah, that is my concern.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I would say do not base your decision on other people's experiences. The 5 years, usually it is not us. You know, it doesn't take 5 years because of us and we're not able to like get back to the applicant. It's based on the applicant and how much time they're willing to spend on, you know, after we give them sort of feedback on their written competencies, how much time they want to dedicate aside from, you know, working a normal job, full-time job. Because we really, the BIFA program, it is a very hard program. It takes a lot of time to compile the writings for the 12 competencies when you do the demonstration of competency. But when you really look at it from the perspective as we are assessing every single of your experience and your knowledge and your abilities to work in Canada, it is pretty much the same as if you were to take internship and then the exam. Those are hard things to pass, and you need to make sure that you studied for this. So, you know, based on what you're saying, like I said, I would not base your judgment based on what other people told you about. If you think that you're ready for entering the demonstration of competency and you can dedicate, you know, several hours, like I think the demonstration of competency, it takes approximately at least 50 hours to finish all 12 of them and write about your projects and how they relate to the Canadian experience. So it is a lot of time for someone who works full-time as well. And I know our coordinator, she tries to get back to every single applicant within a few days. It's also not only up to her. Your demonstration of competencies are reviewed by the chair of the assessment team. And then it's usually back and forth between the applicant and the assessment team, like in case there needs to be any changes to the writing, in order to really know that your knowledge and your experience is transferable into the Canadian context. So I think it sort of goes back to what Mehdi mentioned, that ask yourself, what do you really want to do? You mentioned that you're really happy with the job you have right now, and maybe this is something that you want to do for, you know, the rest of your life until you retire. Or if you feel like you really want to be and become an architect in Canada and work for yourself or work for a firm, then you need to take steps in order to become that. So
so may I have a quick question? If I can I as a BIFA applicant, can I follow two approaches at the same time? I mean,
two processes,
academic and BIFA, to see which one, to see which one is faster, which one goes quicker. I don't know.
I mean, you will be spending extra money on, you know, doing two processes that you don't need to do. I feel like that is, you know, in today's economy, I think, you know, if you can save money.
Yeah, but internship is not expensive one. Just I don't know how much is it, but so if I do that, then my company will see me as an intern architect. So they may give me a mentor. So I can collect my hours, everything like that. So if I mean legally, can I go this way? Can I follow both of these? Can I?
I will say yes. You know, there's no legal obligation. You can participate in whichever programs you would like to do. But I think Mehdi has some follow-up observations.
What I would like to help you on this right now is you need to create a table, write the pros and cons for each way, including cost and time. Cost of BIFA is much bigger, and you have a job right now. I would recommend, if you have not paid a full amount for BIFA, just hold on to that. Go back to the process of accreditation for the CACB and get your approval for the degree, and then go through the process of intern architect. So you already have a job under the supervision of an architect. So collect those hours, submit the hours, and then write the exact exams, then you are a licensed architect. So this is a decision making that you need to be clear on your head to what you really want to get. If you're happy, as Victoria said, with the position you have, just stay there. But my recommendation is go get your architectural license. This is basically you've trained for, and I went through the academic accreditation and my experience was successful. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you both for your comments. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mehdi and Victoria, for amazing answers to the questions. Can I ask Sarah and Pooja just to keep the questions so that we go to our next presentation? And I hope that we get some time to take care of the questions. Thank you. So Mayuri and Dalsena from JVS Toronto, they will present the build program to us, which is so helpful for our architect clients. Please go ahead. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zara. Thank you, Zara, Barbara, and the entire team for inviting us. And I have Dalsiana with me, who is our employment counselor for the BUILD program. I'm the manager for the program, and I'm feeling really sad on having missed the initial part of Mehdi's talks, and as well as Victoria. I think with the way I'm seeing so many questions come up and people are just wanting to ask more, I think it would have been really informative for me to participate as well. But I had my team member, Dalsiana, who I'm sure benefited from the topics that were discussed. And we also have a couple of people from the current BUILD cohort who have participated in this session today. And I'm more than sure that they are taking back so much more information and are so much value added to them through this conversation today. And thank you so much, Mehdi, again. The little part that I attended, I felt so motivated myself, thinking, what am I doing? Why am I not working on my own skills? Why I should be doing that. It doesn't matter whether I'm an architect or not, but yes, it was motivational and so good to hear to you, Mehdi. Thank you so much. I wouldn't take much of your time. I know we do have a time constraint and I don't really have a presentation, but I would just like to let people know of this program that JVS Toronto is conducting. We do have two programs. One is called the BUILD program and the other one is called IPLAN. IPLAN is a bridging program. It runs with a university, but I'm here to speak about the BUILD program. I would be able to, like Barbara said, they'll be sharing the flyers of the program with you, but I'll just give you a brief about the program. It is a program for 10 weeks. It's free for new immigrant architects who have, backgrounds and work experience back home. It is also open to civil engineers or people in the field of interiors, but predominantly, I would say it focuses on architects. The good part about this program is, like I said, it is free for people to participate. It is an information and orientation program. So what Mehdi was saying, you get to explore, you need to understand what the current architectural field requires in Canada. It helps you align what you bring in with what the needs are. So I think it's a great program for people to be a part of, to have clearer decisions and to make clearer choices as to what your way ahead could be. Now, the good part about this program is we provide a lot of information on topics that are required here. Like Mehdi spoke about woodwork. So we cover sessions on woodwork. We cover sessions on Revit. So I understand a lot of people back home use AutoCAD for drawings, but we introduce people to Revit. We have construction laws that people need to be aware of. Another important thing that we cover in our courses is Ontario Building Codes. Again, something that most of the architects need to know. So it is a program which introduces you to a lot of aspects of being an architect here in Canada. The other great part about this program would be you get to connect with mentors, you get to connect with guest speakers, you get to connect with our previous alumni who've benefited from this program that we organize. So in a span of 10 weeks, you get connected with at least 10 professionals in architecture in Canada, which is difficult for a newcomer to achieve. In at least 10 weeks, I'm sure it is impossible for a newcomer to connect with 10 people in the field of architecture. So that is something that I would say are the highlights of our program, that it is a program which covers 360-degree information and also introduces you to a lot of professionals in this field. The third thing that I would like to highlight is it's a completely virtual program. You don't have to come to any office or whatever. You attend everything online, but it is not asynchronous. It is a live session that is organized. So we have mentors, we have consultants, we have guest speakers who speak to you one-on-one and are there to attend to your questions, etc. The requirement for this program does have a certain CLB level, like, you have to be 6 or plus in terms of your language skills. You need to have a legal status in Canada. It is not open for work permits or student visas. It's open for people who are PRs. Unfortunately, it's also not open for citizens. So, I just want to, let you know of the legal statuses that this program enrolls. We would require some basic forms like, your application form, etc. To also let you know, we organize cohorts twice a year, once in May and once in October. Most of the times we have a huge wait list of people, like, we have to shortlist people out of 80 and bring them to 20. So we have 2 cohorts of 20 to 25 each. So 50 a year is maximum that we have enrollment into our program for. But most of the people from the previous cohorts have really appreciated the program. Other than the technical support, like, teaching the or, letting you know of these aspects, we also provide employment support, like, again, what Mehndi was speaking about, whether it is working on your resume, whether it is letting you know of workplace culture, which is really different from where, from the different countries that we come from. So letting you know about the workplace culture, interview skills, whether it is working on your resume, whether it is informational interviews. So this is like a complete wraparound support that is offered to new immigrant architects in terms of probably technical skills as well as employment skills, soft skills. We also offer employer projects during the cohort, and what that is we connect you with live employers where they would give you a certain project that you could work on and add that to your resume as some Canadian experience that you gathered. Of course, you're not going to be paid for it, like there's no stipend or whatever. It's just to enable you to get a first-hand feel of working with a Canadian employer on a Canadian project and to implement your learnings from the program into the real live environment. So I think that is what I wanted to share about this program. The program is listed on the JVS Toronto website. The IPLAN program also is listed there. So please feel free to go ahead and check the programs out. Cohort for October is full, so we will be looking at May as the next cohort, but we are more than happy to receive inquiries and, help you all with whatever kind of support we can. So thank you all for listening to me patiently. And of course, it's me and Dalciana. If anyone wants to ask any questions, we are happy to answer.
And Mayuri, just to confirm, it's online. So if you're in Ottawa or elsewhere in Ontario, all good.
Yes, but it is open for people only residing in Ontario, not outside of Ontario. But yes, it's a completely online virtual program.
Can I just add a few things over here?
Yes, Lalciana, please.
Yeah, so just want to say thank you so much, all the presenters today. It's great for newcomers and architects. Our program, you will be exposed to over 10 professionals, as Mayuri said, but I also think that a plus of this program is that all the participants, they will have the same background and they will be on the same boat. I mean, newcomers in Canada willing to have more networking, and each cohort has at least 20 new professionals. So it's going to be a great start with 20 people that you can have network with, plus all the professionals that we have. And for this program, you have to have some certain availability because the program runs in the morning with some morning classes and some evening classes. So that will be great for those who have a part-time job or are seeking for jobs at the moment. And you will have availability because we have classes Monday to Friday. And 80% of attendance is mandatory here as well. We will have some guest speaker. And I want to take this opportunity to extend some invitations to Victoria and Maddie. If you want to participate as a guest speaker, that will be so great for our program. It's only 30 minutes, it's virtual. I will be sending emails to both of you to some invitations. Mayuri and I, we were sharing when we were listening to your presentations. And as Maddie said, this program also helps you to become a Canadian point of view. We will Canadianize your resume. We will prepare you for interviews. It's a great tool. It's really a great tool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Dalciana. Just one more comment here. While Dalciana spoke about, the batch, we have 20 to 25 people. There's so much peer learning happening. And there is so much of support that they provide to each other, and that is what I have learned from the previous cohorts. Like today, I was inspired by Mehdi. When I listen to the stories of our participants, it's so inspiring. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to leave behind a 25 years of experience back home and to start lower, start fresh, start at the same level. But it requires a lot of courage, and it's extremely inspiring to the peers as well. That you're not the only one. I'm doing the same. Probably we are in the same boat. Probably so much of learning from each other, so much of motivation from each other. So I mean, definitely, it's a great program. Is all that I can say.
Thank you so much, Mayuri and Dalciana. That's so great. That's a good, very great opportunity for the attendees here to know about those programs and knowing about the different cohorts throughout the year. And we have some questions here. I also don't want to keep everyone too long today. So, Farkas, is your question for Mayuri and Dalciana? If yes, you go first, and then I will take care of Sarav and Pooja.
My question is for Sarav.
For
related to what she just said about the program IPLAN and
okay,
JVS
so
and
go
Toronto.
ahead, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yes, I'm currently residing in Ontario. I'm in Ottawa. I'm planning on moving to Quebec in the end of this year, likely to be in January 2025. So I wanted to ask if it's possible to subscribe now and follow up this, even though when I'm subscribing, I'm in Ontario, but I may not be, maybe later.
Yeah, so while you're joining the program, you need to be in Ontario. You have to be a resident of Ontario, and we require like a proof of your residence as one of the documents that we require from you before we enroll you into the program. So you got to be a resident of Ontario at the time you are a part of the program.
So I can only do it in the end of this year. Is there still a chance for me to join it before I leave?
Unfortunately, no. We are looking at 20 people, and we have already enrolled 25 because we've had so much push from all the directions and so many requests. So we are full, but I would still say you could send us an email and we'll have you on our list. If things change at your end or our end, we will definitely get back to you.
Is there anything similar to your program in Quebec?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you, Farkas.
Thank you. And Sarav, you go ahead, please. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Zara, for coordinating this, and Victoria for the informative presentation. Special thanks to Barbara to address the issues faced by the newcomers here. And of course, Professor Mehdi for the insight and inspiration. And lastly, Mayuri, I was going to ask my question to Professor Mehdi, but my question changed after Mayuri's presentation, actually. So, actually, you have already informed that your program is focused on the permanent residents of Canada. I am here with a work permit. You don't, accommodate us usually, but maybe in my case that might be an exception. So is there anyone I can reach out to in JVS with whom I can talk about my case about to enroll in the program?
Sure, maybe you could send an email to us, and Dalciana and I would look at it and definitely get back to you with whatever queries and concerns you have.
Okay, and one last piece for Professor Mehdi, that is, I am really inspired by the notion that you've said, what am I going to do with the certification? That's a really deep thing. I'll search about it. And the self-learning thing you have already suggested, I'll definitely look into it. It's really inspiring. Thank you. And thank you everyone for arranging this. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for your positive feedback. First thing you need to have is a clear goal of becoming an architect in Canada. If you want to become an architect in Canada, nothing is going to stop you. That's the first thing. So be clear about where you want to live, because the laws in Quebec with the rest of Canada are different. That's why the contractual obligations are different. So what I would suggest, if you have a plan to stay in Quebec, just from now, focus on what is available on Quebec. I know a lot of good programs I heard are available in Montreal and the other cities. They have a really good public funding for these type of initiatives. Focus on what is available in Quebec and get yourself basically bind with the architects in Quebec and start using their mentorship. The place, I mean, the whole Canada is the second largest country in the world. And if we need to build anything in this country, we need architect. This is as simple as that. So you are in demand and no one can stop you from not becoming an architect if you decide to become an architect. And all of us sitting here, including Zahra, Marion and Barbara, Victoria, Elisiana, all we are helping you guys to take the initiative and then step forward to become an architect, and it is going to happen. But stay focused on where you want to live, because if you are basically switching from English to French and then from Quebec to the rest of the Canada, it may not be as constructive and it may exhaust you. That's my recommendation.
And just as I'm listening, there's a few people here who sound like they're interested in knowing a little bit more about Quebec requirements. So we can look into that and see how we can help you.
Yeah, thank you. And our last question from Pooja. Go ahead, please, Pooja. Are you on mute, Pooja? Are you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
So my first question is there any program for work permit holders in JVS?
No.
No? Okay. No. Okay. And the next question is what are like how to become an architectural designer?
Is that for me?
Maybe that's for Mehdi.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll go ahead. If you want to call yourself architect, any prefix or suffix, you've got to get your license in architecture. So you cannot call yourself architectural designer before you become an architect. So you can be a designer, you can start working as a designer under the supervision of architects and so on, but you need to have a good portfolio You have to know which company in your area is in need of your services, and then take your portfolio, go there, show it to them. And if they need to contact you, leave a contact information with them so they're going to hire you. But you need to design something. It is Canadianized. That's the best word for that. So it has to be something that it is acceptable in Canada. It's based on the building code. It's based on the construction methods and materials that we are using here in Canada. And this basically is not just a Mickey Mouse drawing. I call it in my classes, don't offend on anything. But when a student is asking me, is this acceptable or not? I said, well, you are in college. What you are producing is what the contractors need to take it and then build it accordingly, especially similar to what you're getting from the IKEA's information. So you go IKEA, you purchase something, they will provide you with the instruction to how to install them together. Architectural drawings must be something like that. So less ambiguity, minimum of abstractions and conflict or omissions, and then when they take it to the site, they can build it accordingly. So you need to get some familiarity with the standards here. What I would suggest, some people were asking me in the private chat, we have a basically open house in Algonquin College. If you like to come to the open house, I probably shall be there, and I can basically give you the link to that. Come to Algonquin College, talk to the professors over there, and then see if any programs that you can take if you are in Ottawa to start your journey. If you are in Toronto, JVS and IPLAN, I heard a lot of good responses and feedback from the mentees in the past. And here we are. This is the connection already made by Word Skills. You may as well take a benefit from them here. So you go to their office and see if they can hook you up with the mentors in the city. You've got to move forward.
Thank you. Thanks.
Mehdi, I'm hoping that the instructions the architects give are better than the ones we get with IKEA, because I can never put a piece of furniture together. Sorry, I had to say that.
Yes, no, hopefully.
I couldn't resist.
Yes, that was fun. Correct.
Otherwise, we're in trouble.
Correct. True.
I'd just probably take another minute, Barbara, but I just thought this could be a good platform for me to speak about skill trades also, because, you know, there might be people who are certified as architects, but have some skill trade background and, you know, have some interests in skill trades. We do have programs about on skill trades as well with JVS. Just have a look at the website and, you know, we could help people with licensing for their skill trades, and also some kind of training. So I just wanted to leave this note here.
Yeah, Mayuri, thank you for that. And just so you know as well, on the credential recognition program, sort of here in Ottawa, and I'm assuming some of you are already World Skills or credential recognition program clients. We have a trade specialist on our team, and we're in connection with Mayuri as well. So there are programs in Ottawa and also in Toronto that can help you down that pathway. And part of that pathway is really understanding, again, it's not just a matter of jumping into the trades. There are processes around that as well. So we can help you navigate and understand what those are as well. Yeah. Can I just say something, Zara? I just want to say a huge thank you to Zara, because she's brought together Victoria, Mehdi, and Mayuri and Delciana, providing a really nice kind of complement of information, and hopefully has been helpful for you. After this presentation, I do want to ask, I want to ask one little favor, is we're going to send out a quick little survey. Let us know that the session was helpful, and we're going to add something in there, is what additional information do you need to have as well to help you along the pathway? And then we can kind of look to see what's in there. We're happy to organize other sessions. We're happy to bring Victoria and Mehdi into the office in person. You know, so we can look at doing different things. So just so you know, you're not on your own, but you need to let us know what you need as well. And we'll, as much as we can, kind of try to organize some follow-up sessions and conversations. Mehdi, I mean, I would say to say that the value of mentorship and kind of what you've provided here in terms of some of that is incredibly important. And from Victoria's perspective, really understanding what the processes are so that you can make the decision as to whether that's the right step for you. So I know there's lots of you here with loads of experience too. And so even having another session where you come and talk about your journey on this would be really great as well. So huge thank you to Zara, because I think this has been a good session with lots of great information. So, and we will want your follow-up, because if we don't get your follow-up, we can't know what the next step should be. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Barb. Thank you for the support. Thanks to everyone. And that was amazing to have you all this morning. And we had great presentations, great questions and answers. And as we promised, we will send you follow-up emails with all the information attached, all the links that's going to help you about the free presentations and the programs we talked about. And yeah, we hope to get more sessions like that, preferably this time in person at the office with you, our dear architects. And yeah, we're going to send you a survey to know more about your feedback. Thanks again to everyone. Thanks for your patience. I know we're over time today. And I wish you all a very great weekend.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thanks so
Thank
much
you
for
very
having
much.
me.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.